everyone, my name is Donovan, and today I want to share with you a absolute battery beast of a phone. This is the Motorola G7 Power. It's a phone that's been out for a little while, and I've had the G7, but I wanted to go ahead and try out the G7 Power. So just as a quick comparison, the G7 only has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, whereas this one has a full 2,000 extra milliamp hours, so a whopping 5,000 milliamp hour battery. However, you're going to get some reduced specs here, so only 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage if you pick up the US version of the device. And while we're talking about the US version of the device, let's go ahead and talk about some of the different versions that are available. So first of all, this is Amazon here, so I'll leave links down in the description if you're interested in checking them out. But the G7 Power, if you get the international version, so this one will not come with the US warranty, but it is the international version. It is factory unlocked, but it is GSM only, so it won't work with Verizon or Sprint, so just as a heads up there. But this one is 64 gigs of storage and 4 gigs of RAM. And then this is the regular version. This is the one that you would get if you bought it from T-Mobile. Also the unlocked US version, which will work on Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, all the above. So that one's $250. And then this version here, again, this one will work with all of the carriers in the US. This is $225. And this is the Amazon version. So notice that it says with Alexa push to talk, and that's because it's going to come preloaded with a number of Amazon apps on it. So $225 for that version. So you have some options here. All of these are cheaper than the regular Moto G7. And yeah, so with that being said, this is the G7 Power. I'm going to go ahead and unbox it. Basically, it's the same unboxing experience you'd get with the G7, which I've already done. But this is obviously a thicker phone because it has a 5,000 mAh battery. So this one comes with a lot of the same specs. So we have the Snapdragon 632 processor, same one that came on the regular G7, same kind of bezel down here at the bottom. Now this one doesn't have the same teardrop bezel that you had, or sorry, teardrop camera module that you had on the regular G7, so that's a little bit different. In terms of the bill, looks like it's pretty much the same. This one's a little bit more glossy here, fingerprint sensor here. Only a single camera versus the dual cameras you get on the regular G7. And so we have our volume rocker, power button. Up here we have our headphone jack, so they did maintain the headphone jack. And then we have a microphone there, another microphone down here, and we do have Type-C, so that's awesome. So you can charge it up via Type-C. We're going to go ahead and slide all this stuff off. So this, of course, is going to be our booklets. Let's see if there's anything special in here. Oh, it says read me. That's fun. We have our SIM removal tool. Nope, nothing special there. We have our fast charger, so our turbo power charger from Motorola, so that's nice. And then, of course, this is going to be a Type-C cable because the phone charges via Type-C. All right, so I'm going to slide all this off to the side. All right, so now let's do a quick rundown of the specs of the Moto G7 Power. So first of all, we see that we have a 720p display. Now, the regular Moto G7 comes with a 1080p display, so that's definitely a little bit of a downgrade you're getting here with the G7 Power, but again, you're paying $50 less and getting a much larger battery, so that's the positive there. So 720p display, which honestly, if you look really, really closely, I don't know that you can really even see the pixels, so obviously that's hard to pick up here on my camera. But even when you're looking at pretty small text, I really don't notice the pixels. So honestly, the 720p display on this device looks pretty decent in my opinion. As far as that display is 6.2 inch HD plus, that's a 9:19 aspect ratio. So similar to what you're getting here on like this Moto G9. Actually, this one also has a 720p display, and I like it on that one. Now in comparison, like this UmiDigi F1 Play has a 5150 milliamp hour battery. You can see those ones have that teardrop look just like the regular G7. But this one comes with more of that U-shaped design in terms of the camera bump that you get there on the back. Now, again, on the back here, we just have a single one camera here, so 12 megapixel camera, and then also 8 megapixel camera. But what's interesting about the cameras here is that you actually get all the exact same features that you had on the regular G7, so we still have portrait mode, but here, of course, it's going to be using just that single camera instead of two cameras to try to get that background blur, so that's kind of cool. We have spot color, cinemagraph, panorama, we have slow motion, time lapse, and then YouTube Live. Now, while we're talking about the video, let's go ahead and go into these settings. So you can see here for the photo size, the maximum size is going to be, of course, 12 megapixels. But here on the video size, interestingly, we have 4K Ultra HD, also Full HD, 60 frames per second. That's with the rear camera. Down here in the selfie camera, you can see, with the video size, we can get up to 1080p, so very cool. It does also support anti-shake, so if I go here into the video mode, you can see that we do have this anti-shake option or stabilization option. So very cool. So that's going to allow you to walk or hold your hand kind of steady, and it's going to use electronic image stabilization to try to keep your shot steady. We'll have to test that out to see how well it works, because sometimes that's terrible and sometimes it works pretty well depending on which phone you're using. So we already talked about the camera. Battery, of course, is going to be a beast on this device. But one thing that we haven't talked about, of course, are the Moto actions. So if we go in here, we have all the same Moto actions you get with the regular G7. So we have lift to unlock, some media controls, screenshot editor, 3-finger screenshot. So let's touch the screen with 3 fingers to take a screenshot. It won't work on this screen, but we can do it. We have 1-button nav, which you can see I'm already using. So that's going to be swipe left to go back, swipe right to go to your recent app. So we'll go back again because it's going to bring us back, and then we can swipe up to go to our recent apps, as you can see there, and then if you hold it down, it's going to give you the Google Assistant. So all that works very well. We also, of course, have like the famous ones like the twist your wrist twice to get, or sorry, you chop to get the flashlight, or twist your wrist twice to get quick capture, but all the same ones that are available on the Moto G7. So really the things that you're losing here with this G7 is, of course, if you get the US version, you're going to get less RAM, less storage. You're also going to get a 720p display and a single camera, but you're going to save yourself some money because it's $50 less, and you get a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, I am going to be doing some comparisons with a couple of these other devices that I did already show you here. So this is, of course, the Umidigi F1 Play, very similar price point. So this one comes in at just under $200, or you can get it right around $200. This one is the G9 from Blue. This one's $179. So if you get, of course, the US version, this one's going to be the most expensive version of the most expensive phone here. But if you get that international version, it kind of falls right into that same price point of these two devices. But again, the US version supports Verizon and Sprint, whereas the international version is GSM only. So let me know what questions you guys have about the G7 Power. One of the things I definitely want to test out is I want to compare the battery life of these two devices. So this one, the Umidigi F1 Play, has a 5150 milliamp hour battery versus the 5000 milliamp hour battery on this one, the G7 Power. Now the G9 from Blue, this one has a 4000 milliamp hour battery, so still a nice large battery. Battery life on this one's fantastic, same here, and they're claiming 60 hours of usage here on the G7 Power, which is pretty incredible. We'll be testing that out. So let me know what questions you guys have down in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Hope this video has been helpful for you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.